Hello, good evening, and happy Tuesday. I have with me a very special guest here today. This is Coleen Anderson. She is the store manager for Tiny Apple, and I'm really excited for what we have to talk about.
I am too. One of my favorite things to do.
Okay, I'm sure people knew from we sent out an email, and then we don't really beat around the bush with what the subject is. But today we are going to talk about collage quilting. And if you were a part of the English paper piecing retreat, you got a sneak preview that this is the topic for our very next virtual retreat. So we're so excited to bring that to you. Our next virtual retreat is going to be March 20th through the 22nd. So it starts on a Friday, late afternoon, evening, and goes all the way through Sunday about the same time. It is a get-together, it's just as it sounds, a virtual retreat. So if you think of a quilting retreat, do you go to a lot of quilting retreats?
No, just here.
This is probably enough.
This is probably enough, yeah. But I have been, actually, and I love it, yes.
So this is a quilting retreat that you don't even have to leave the privacy or the comfort of your own house. You can wear pajamas, your slippers, your bunny slippers, enjoy fellowship and quilting. Each quilting retreat, we have a topic, and this topic is collage quilting. So let's get into the topic, and then we'll tell you a little bit more details about the retreat. Okay.
Fun.
So with each retreat, we want to give you hopefully something new, something that you haven't done before, and we want to give you the tools to start out to do that. So with each retreat package, we are going to build it around a book, and this session is going to be the Collage Quilter book. Now, this is a fabulous book. It goes through all the things that you need to be aware of for collage quilting. It talks about color and value and hue so that you can get some of these amazing results that you see in the book. It talks through supplies that you'll need, techniques that you can use, and some tips and tricks to make things a little bit easier, a little bit faster, a little funner if that's possible.
Yes.
So we start with the book. As part of the retreat package, we also make videos, how-to videos, special things on how to do this technique or that, where this technique might be better, and we'll get into a little bit of that later on in the live show here. So we start around the book. You'll also get some other goodies in your package, but we'll talk about those later when Coleen will walk us through some of the tools that she likes to use for collage quilting. Now, Coleen, I guess before we get started, let's tell people a little bit about you.
Sure. I've been sewing since I was little. My grandma sewed, and I aspired to be just like her, but took my first class. I'm going to date myself now.
You don't
ninth grade.
Okay.
1973. I know, a long time. So, but my really collage has become my favorite medium because it's so artisan fartisan. That's my new word.
Artisan fartisan.
Well, it sounds better than artsy fartsy.
Yeah.
Artisan fartisan.
Yes.
But it's just a chance to just sit back and be creative and work with my hands. And sometimes when I'm feeling like I don't have the attention to do a lot of fancy measuring and piecing, and maybe my 1/4 inch seams aren't exactly a 1/4 inch, and maybe I don't want to pre-press anything, I can pull out my collage and just go into this art space, which is so much fun.
Indeed. Yep. Indeed. Well, that is fabulous. And so I could not think of a better person to join us all on this journey.
Thank you.
For
I'm
the
excited.
artsy-fartsy collage quilting.
Yes, I know.
So we talked a little bit about what you get in the packet. And like I say, it's all around this book here. So while we're talking about, hold the book up.
Yeah, maybe it'll go clearer. They can't see it, so.
Okay, do you want to do the QR code?
Yep, we can do that.
Okay, producer Ken is going to pull up the QR code. If you want a closer, better look at this book, please feel free to either click on that QR code or scan that. That will bring you to our Collage Quilting Virtual Retreat Center, where you can get some more information about this and take a look at the book and the things that are going to be in your packet a little bit closer up. So we're going to start with the book, and then we're going to give you some things that you need to get started. Now, for our retreats, the goal is that you have most of this stuff in your own home. One of the fabulous things about collage quilting is you're using, I would say, little scraps of fabric.
Yes. Yep.
So you don't need huge pieces of fabric, whatever you've got in your stash. What size piece do you usually start with?
You know, a 6x6 piece is worth saving as you're organizing things in color, for sure. Yeah, doesn't need to be real big. That's a good size.
Nice. So whatever you've got in your stash, in your scraps would be perfect for this. We were kind of joking about that on the English paper piecing retreat when we were fussy cutting. What do we do with the rest of this fabric?
Right.
Collage quilting.
Collage, yeah. I love this book. Emily Taylor has a very precise and yet realistic approach, and her book is very deep into technique, and I really appreciate that about her. That the fact that she helps us understand color and value and hue. And I have a recent bad example that I didn't bring tonight, but you know, after a lot of work on something, if the colors aren't just right and the values in particular aren't just right, it's not going to have the pop of impression that we would like it to have. And so this book, regardless of if you want to go very realistic or very, you know, representational or not, the book is great technique. Great technique, great foundation.
So a great place to start.
A great place to start, yeah.
So that is actually a great introduction to the other side of collage quilting. As part of your retreat package, you'll start with the book, and Emily, who, as Coleen said, is very representational of this, very realistic, rather, very realistic. There's the other style. There's another style of collage quilting, and that is what I would put in like the Laura Heine Fiberworks camp.
Right.
And so it's something a little bit like this. Do you want to show the actual example?
Yeah. So Laura Heine, I took a class from her, and hers has just this art and whimsy, and just uses recognizable shapes with unusual fabrics that you might not think of putting together. Now, if you have been seeing the washi tape Ruby Star fabric, you'll recognize it in this cupcake. But I just had so much fun making these cupcakes. So I did a Ruby Star cupcake, and then I did a Tula cupcake, and I did a sun-kissed cupcake. So I used the sunflower for my cherry on the top of my cupcake. I did a kind of a silly Easter cupcake. So we'll have some more ideas like this, and certainly samples like this. To just, again, the little bits of fabric, if you think 6x6, and you can do a lot with that and end up with a fun little mug rug, or maybe something that you're sending to a friend that they can put, you know, put in their kitchen or wherever. So we'll have lots of ideas like that. So the Laura Heine quilts, the Laura Heine approach to collage is very, very, what word am I looking for?
Well, was this one that you called representational?
Yes,
If you,
yes.
You could see in some of her designs, if she's making a flower, instead of using little pieces of different colored fabric to make the flower, she'll cut out a flower from fabric and put that on there.
So here's another one of her patterns that she calls the nest. This is probably the most realistic thing, the one of her patterns, but I've made some others nests, and I did them more not unconventional. So I put a bird standing in here, and a bird that wouldn't belong. Even in here, I put a bug in here. The bug doesn't, I wouldn't really want a bug in my nest, but it's the fun of pulling these things together that I couldn't do with paint or any other medium as flexibly as I can with fabric. It's kind of like painting and designing with fabric.
So in the retreat package, you'll get a Laura Heine pattern too, to try both options, to use your stash and make both options and see which one you like best or which one you prefer. So you'll get both of that. In addition, you're going to need some way to stick the fabric to the other fabric. So we're
Absolutely.
giving you a package of light Steam-A-Seam 2.
Yeah, this
Now-
is my favorite fusible. So this is a fusible that's between two pieces of paper. If you haven't used this before, I like it because it's very light. So even in something like my washi tape cupcake, where I've got a couple of layers fused together, it's still flexible and fabric-like. And it fuses really well. Now this, I don't intend for this to get a lot of washing. This is raw edge applique, but it will last through quite a bit with the Steam-A-Seam.
And as much as we've handled that around the shop, the edges aren't really fraying. I think the Steam-A-Seam helps with that
Right.
too.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
strong.
sharp, yeah.
Really strong.
Probably a different story if you washed it, but
Right.
this is more
Art
artsy
pieces.
and less
Artisan
practical.
fartisan.
Artisan fartisan. In addition, there are a couple other things that we think you'd find very helpful, and one of that is with this, when you're quilting over. So the idea is you take your fabric, you fuse it to other fabric in the shapes that you want, and then instead of stitching around like you would with applique, you're basically just quilting over the top to make sure that those pieces stay together. We love, for this application, some non-stick needles. So
Love
we're going to
these.
send you a package
Yes.
of super non-stick needles.
Absolutely. So these are Teflon, and they're just helpful in your machine not having to work so hard. The Steam-A-Seam melts when you press it. So once you're quilting it, you shouldn't have a gummed up needle, and we'll talk about that. But this needle is really so helpful.
Indeed. And then certainly not the last thing, but the last thing we're going to talk about today is a stiletto.
I love this. So the stiletto is just going to be helpful in laying those little pieces, and you can get some obviously better placement than you can get with your
Fingers.
fingers. So if you are just wanting, and if you have a piece that's really small, this is going to help you lay it exactly where you want it. And then the Steam-A-Seam is a little bit tacky, like a Post-it note. And so you can lay it down, and then if you want to move it, you could pick it up and move it until you actually iron it. It's movable, which I love about that. But this is, of course, Laura Heine, again, who did the patterns for the collages that I've got here. Her stiletto, which is really fun.
It is. And it's got a cute little cap.
And it's got a cute little cap.
Yep. Got to stay protected.
I know, yeah.
So since we're talking about Laura Heine, let's go to the overhead and we'll show some other options, some other things that you could do with collage quilting here.
So my very favorite collage, actually where I started, my very first
We're upside down.
down.
Yep.
I think Ken changes that camera
He
every
does.
single time. But I digress. The very first collage I made were these fish. Now the fish I made actually were Quilt Minnesota fabric in
sure.
2017. And so they were much more realistic fish than color-wise than tropical fish. Let me just say they were closer to Minnesota fish than tropical fish. But here's the Laura Heine fish pattern. Is it right side up on the camera? It is.
It is, yep.
And so when I think about this, I think about just painting with fabric. And the only thing I need to think about is that the fish has a kind of a midline here. And so I usually start in the midline and then I go up and I go down. So my strokes will round out the fish properly. The fish is also going to be a little darker on the tummy side than on the back side. Other than that, it's really making it up as you go along, but the fish is really fun. And
now
then,
I noticed that you used batiks here.
yes.
Let's talk about what kind of fabric people want to use.
Oh my gosh. Anything. I mean, anything that I would avoid a knit.
Okay.
Anything except a knit. But you could use a flannel, and I've got I have one of these whatevers that's a sheep, and I definitely want to do a sheep out of a flannel. Even if it gets a little furry around, it's a sheep, so
It's a
it
sheep.
should. So anything that's woven, you you know, even a denim, if you wanted to put a denim in your collage somehow, absolutely. A knit is going to be a little harder and fussier to work with, but I wouldn't try and talk you out of putting a little bit of a cuddle in here if you needed a place where you wanted some fur.
Oh, that
I
would be
mean,
kind of fun.
yeah, it's an art piece, so you could do whatever. The only question will be, how am I going to get it to adhere to my foundation? Now this one, you can see that I had this one long armed because I worked for a place that did long arming. So I had that, and then
You had that
I
luxury.
had that luxury. And then here's another fish. Again, I love doing the fish. And if you're wondering what will I do with these, you know, this is a really fun pillow idea, cave fabric, and you know, you can do tropical fish, you can do any kind of more realistic colored fish, whatever you'd like to do.
Speaking of realistic, let's take a look at the dogs.
This is Polly and Peter purebred. And they are so cute. So this is what you were talking about earlier, Allison, where, you know, taking a flower and turning it into a hat.
Yeah.
And taking taking some of these circles out of a cave print and turning it into beads for her necklace.
Yeah.
Just so much fun. And then the background fabrics really give that some interesting dimension, of course. Now, and then trying to find a fabric that's going to look like eyes. And now this actually, I have to be honest, straight up honest, this was a kit. So this came with all these fabrics, but I decided how they were going to be put together. So I used some selvages. I gave him a tie tack that looks like a little bone, you know, all kinds of fun little surprises that are just easy to do because you've got this canvas. And then I quilted this on my domestic machine, which actually is a very soothing thing to do. I don't measure it or draw it out. I give myself a starting place.
Okay.
What do you call that? A reference, right? And then I just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And, you know, I just use my presser foot for a guide. I don't want it to be too perfectly quilted. And then I'll, of course, do the other opposing direction. So
It's a really good approach for this kind of a project. It looks very organic. It fits in really well. Yeah.
Thank you. I love these. These are my favorites. I think I showed all of these that I have.
Okay. Well, while we're overhead, let's talk very quickly about the tools that you'll need. Now, again, the hope and the idea is that between what you've got in your own stash and what we're sending you in your retreat package, that you'll have everything you need to get started. Now, there are some things that will make your project a little bit easier, especially if you're into collage quilting, some things that might make it a little bit more fun. So let's start with the best. The perfect scissors.
The perfect scissors. This is Karen K. Buckley. These are actually called the perfect scissors. I love these scissors. I love that they come with a cover because they're really sharp. They're serrated. So they grip the fabric as well as they're excellent at cutting. This size is perfect for doing all of these fussy cutting. So if you see all of the cutting of things like this and this and these scissors are just perfect. The handles are flexible. So even if you have hands that are get tired from cutting, I can cut with this for hours and hours and I find it really relaxing and something good to do in front of the TV when the dog lets me.
Another very nice and thoughtful thing about the Karen K. Buckley scissors is they can be used left or right-handed. For all my lefties out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I can't say. Now, this, of course, her scissors come in other sizes. They are all fabulous. I have as many of them as I may have all of them. I don't know, except for that new little one that we just got.
Oh, the new baby one?
The baby one's going to have to go home with me, but this one is my favorite collage scissor. And then you will need an applique pressing sheet if you don't have one. We have this one in the store at Tiny Apple right now. There's one called the Goddess, which we'll be getting, which is these are Teflon products. So I frankly don't press my iron to the pressing sheet. I put my fabric on here and then press it. So you can build your collage on your pressing sheet. there's all kinds of technique, but the pressing sheet is going to be a must-have. The Design Pro, now this is called an applique mat, and I like this too. This has a little bit of a tacky feel to it.
Oh,
So if you're trying to keep your pieces together and want to know how is this going to look, this is a great tool. Now, this is easy to put on top of your pattern. So if you imagine my cupcake, I can lay my cupcake out. I wrote on here where the center is to try and keep myself oriented. And I can put this on top of my pattern and organize all my pieces.
nice.
Yeah. So this is a fabulous mat.
Mhm.
And then
It kind of reminds me of like a baking mat, a silicone
Mhm,
baking
it
mat.
is like a silicone baking mat. I don't know what the difference is actually. I've thought about that before. And then one thing we don't have to show you, but is really a helpful tool as well is a light box. And we love the Caterpillar light boxes. They're slim. The light is so soft and yet really effective. So I can look at it. You can tell that I pick tools based on comfort.
Uh-huh.
I can look at that light for a long time without my head hurting or without my eyes giving me a lot of problem. It has adjustable light, and there's some that there's one that is rechargeable. But if you can imagine the light box being behind here and showing through my pattern, and then this is on top of my pattern, and now I'm building my collage. It's a really fun project.
Love it.
And then, of course, you will get some gunk on your iron.
It's
You
unavoidable.
will. It's hard to avoid it, but so having an iron cleaner handy, particularly so that when you're done with your collage, you can clean up your iron and not go back to your iron the next day and put it on something and get goo on your on your project that's not collage, and that would be so disappointing.
Should we ask you how you know?
You can. I'll fess up. I've done it. I've done it.
I think we all have.
We all have.
We all have. So really, that's not a whole lot of strange products, and
Mhm.
you probably have some of these already
Exactly.
in your sewing room. So this should be a very fun and very approachable quilting retreat. Again, we'll have our next collage retreat. Sorry, our next virtual retreat will be all on collage quilting, and that will start on March 20th. Going through the 22nd. So it's a weekend starting on a Friday and going to a Sunday afternoon. You can join for as much or as little as you want for the weekend. Coleen and I will both be there hosting.
And I want to promise everybody that there'll be a sweet spot for you in these projects.
Mhm.
If you wanted to do something that is, again, more realistic, like the Emily Taylor,
I've already
the
lost my book.
radish. You were looking at the radish. It's just
Oh, yes.
so pretty. How do you take your fabrics and turn that into some kind of an image? We will do some things that are like this, and we'll do some things that are also sort of out there, and everything in between. Everything in between.
I think Ken's figured. Oh, here we go. So here are again a little bit more realistic than
Mhm.
the dogs. We've
Yes,
got a horse, and this was all made with fabric, if you can
isn't
believe
that
that.
fun?
It is.
Painting with fabric.
It is gorgeous.
And I
Let's see if
love
can
the
find that.
flowers. So she's making flowers by a choice of fabric and fabric colors, whereas Laura Heine would do flowers by just having fabric with flowers that you're cutting out.
Yep, okay,
So-
going out the wrong way here.
That's okay. So I just want to be sure that we're not going to do one way or the other way.
We're doing both.
We're doing it all. Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. So a fabulous way to get started with collage quilting or to expand what you've done with
Absolutely.
it. Producer Ken, do we have any questions on collage quilting? Okay, well, here's the best part. This is the best part. Right now, the price is 20% discounted.
Good deal.
And this is the original design. The original idea was we always give people who attended the previous retreat a discount on the current retreat. And I thought because this is such an exciting topic, we would just open it up to everyone for the next week. So until our next Gotham Live, so that's going to be next Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern. Until then, anyone who signs up for the Collage Quilting virtual retreat is going to get that special price of 20% off. So we're very excited to join that. Now, with that, if this is a book that you have already got in your sewing room, you will have the option to, instead of the book, get a fabric bundle. And so this would be perfect for people who don't have a huge stash. You do have the option to get the book and the fabric as well. And this one, normally we give out fat quarters, but for this one, I think we need more options of smaller pieces of fabric. So we are going to go to fat eighths for this one. You're going to get a fat eighth bundle, same amount of fabric, smaller and more variety. So it'll be a really great jumping off point, especially if you don't have a whole lot of stash, or maybe all of your stash is of one color or one type. Okay. So I think, Coleen, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
For the,
Thanks for
Collage
having
Quilting.
me.
Do you want to stick around for the housekeeping
Sure.
things? Okay.
I'll listen in.
Perfect. So speaking of quilting, I'm very pleased to announce our December Thread Talk. Our December Thread Talk is going to be Karen Miller. She happens to be a thread expert.
Ooh.
If you could believe it. She is an Aurifil educator, and they have a special name that I just forgot, but she is a thread whiz extraordinaire. And the topic of her thread talk will be quilting on your domestic machine. So what a timely thread talk.
Absolutely.
So she's going to go through things that work, things that she's tried that don't work, ways to get fun results, to think outside the box for something like this, perhaps, or to use your domestic machine to quilt those projects. So if you have an interest in thread or free motion quilting using your domestic machine, this thread talk you are not going to want to miss. It's a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of technique. So very excited for this one. Our December Thread Talk is going to be on Wednesday, December 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. So get that QR code, sign up for that, and don't forget that Club Gotham members get free entry to all of our Thread Talks. And that is also virtual as well, so that'll be hosted on Zoom. We have, don't forget, last week's topic was the show and tell quilt.
Oh.
We've seen that come together in the shop here. Now, the show and tell quilt is a brand new pattern by Elizabeth Hartman. It is adorable animals holding up very cute quilts.
I know, the fox.
I know, it's very cute. We're all going goo goo gaga over it in the shop here. And I got the opportunity to sew a block. I showed my bunny block last week, and maybe we'll show the fox when it's done. But anyone who gets the pattern or one of the two quilt kits from us gets entry into the community space where we are hosting a sew along. It'll be kind of a loosey-goosey sew along, but a great place to get videos on tips and tricks and the things that we're learning, a little bit of history about the stories behind some of these quilt blocks, and some special bonus blocks of our own. So we're very excited for that.
Yeah.
We have the mystery 5-0 island hopping quilt that started last week. It's not too late to join. And so if you are interested in the mystery sew along, go ahead and scan or click that QR code. We would love to have you. If nothing else, you can certainly join our Facebook group, and then you will be the first to know when the next one is was announced. We do mega mystery, which is the one we're in right now, island hopping, and then we also do mini mysteries. So if you want a little mini quilt, we've had a lot of fun with those.
We have. I'm already thinking about the next one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming up in January.
I know. It's on the calendar.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's really fun.
And then
the minis are big blocks, but they're really fun to do.
21 inches square. So they make a fabulous pillow. And last but not least, don't forget to sign up for our Color for Quilters class. This is it's basically, you get a little bit of it, a little taste of it in the Collage Quilting book, but it just takes it so much further. So if you are less than confident in picking out fabrics or colors for quilts or projects, that goes for embroidery, for any kind of stitching, knitting, crocheting, anything fiber related that uses color, this class you definitely won't want to miss. It is a year-long adventure. Each month we meet and have a challenge and go through something to build your confidence and to build your skills in that Color for Quilters class. So that also is virtual, hosted on Zoom, and then it's got access to a special community space where we post the things, you can ask questions, and have all kinds of fun with us throughout the year. Yeah, we're very excited. All kinds of fun things going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last but not least, we've got our next Stitch Lab meeting coming up this week on Thursday. So that is another virtual. Virtual is the name of the game today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've got our next Stitch Lab meeting this Thursday. Oh, I was going to say February. Boy, I am November. Thank you, Coleen. This Thursday, November 13th, our Stitch Lab meeting. It is the best and funnest parts of, I think, a fun, kind, lovely quilt guild. But it's a great opportunity to expand your horizons just a little bit, show off what you're working on, and do something fun with fellow like-minded people. And again, all the stitching.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. No politics, no news, just stitching.
Just stitching. That should be our tagline.
Well,
we found our new tagline. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Coleen.
You're
for
welcome.
sharing
Thanks
all
for
of your
having me.
projects.
I'm so excited about this.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
shouldn't we go to New York?
I think we should. I think we should drum up some support, show off, take some
road trip.
You know what I think we need to do is a photo opportunity with the Collage Quilting samples. We'll bring them to New York, take a picture on the subway. What do you think?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, we're going to pack our bags. We've got to go. But don't forget to come back here next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. That is Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Live with Gotham Quilts. And we will see you then, if not before. And I really hope before. Bye-bye.